Now on 4 News Now at 6, we are declaring tomorrow a weather alert day. Gusty winds that can fill the air with dust and increase wildfire risk.
We have team coverage on everything you need to know about conditions on where you live to make sure you're prepared.
And people in a South Spokane neighborhood are raising alarms over plans for a major development project. Why some say building hundreds of new homes could have major consequences.
And debunking the toilet paper panic, why you don't need to stock up despite the ongoing port workers strike. Coming up. You're watching 4 News Now at 6.
Well, increased fire risk, gusty winds, and blowing dust. Those are just some of the conditions you can expect in parts of the inland Northwest tomorrow. And that's why our team of weather experts have declared tomorrow a weather alert day. Thanks for being with us tonight. I'm Kirsten O'Connor.
And I'm Derek Dice. We have team coverage tonight to make sure you and your family are prepared for tomorrow's severe weather. Meteorologist Matt Gray is tracking dust conditions where you live. But we begin with Chief Meteorologist Chris Crocker with how those gusty winds can lead to an increased fire risk.
And as you mentioned, that is just one of the problems we're tracking, and this is primarily impacting Spokane area, the Palouse, both Idaho and Washington, the Columbia Basin, and the LC Valley from noon until 7 o'clock on Friday. We have a fire weather warning in effect for the area shaded in hot pink on your screen. It is the combination of those gusty winds in the Spokane area, up to 40-mile-per-hour winds with even stronger gusts further to the south. We could see up to 50-mile-per-hour gusts there. The dry conditions, any fire starts could be disastrous, spreading very, very rapidly. In addition, we have in the area shaded in yellow on your screen a blowing dust advisory. We've done this before where very dry fields, those gusty winds, and we end up with a wall of dust moving across the region, and a wind advisory for the area shaded in brown on your screen. Again, we're going to see especially strong winds south of the Spokane area. Here's what we know. The forecast wind gusts starting off at 8 a.m. with relatively calm conditions. Already starting to see things picking up a bit in Pullman, but we'll really start to see those gusts developing around noon. 18-mile-per-hour gusts in Spokane, wind gusts in excess of 20 miles per hour in many locations. Those winds will begin peaking around 4 or 5 o'clock. 45-mile-per-hour gusts in Pullman, in Lewiston, similar in excess of 40 miles in Ritzville, 36-mile-per-hour gusts in Spokane, and then they will slowly die down through the evening. But even at 11 o'clock tomorrow night, it is going to be gusty. The weather threats with this strong cold front moving through, wind damage is possible, wildfire risk is high. Blowing dust is likely, and that is where meteorologist Matt Gray picks up our team weather coverage with the threat of blowing dust. Matt?
And Chris, it all starts with the lack of rain that we have seen over the past several months. Soil moisture in central Washington is about as dry as it ever gets. And over the past 10 days or so, we have really seen that come into fruition. Now in the fall season, we're getting more of these wind events. They're picking up that dust and they're sending it to places like Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. Now, cold front winds, especially the one that we're looking at tomorrow, generally things start out from the south or southwest. It's a very typical wind pattern normally here in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. Then we'll see a little bit of a shift to the north as the front passes. Either way, the closer you are to that front, the stronger the winds are and the more potential for some of that dust to get kicked up. And so what likely is going to happen tomorrow is a lot of the weather impacts are going to happen in a very short time frame, and that includes that dust. Here are some roads that we're going to be watching. Remember, generally southwesterly winds, and so that puts large sections of I-90, 395, 195 between Spokane and Pullman, and a good section of Highway 2 as well into the areas where we could see at times some limited visibility. Now, we have seen some very extreme limited visibility over the last couple of dust events that we've had. One this past weekend, the one that was last Wednesday, where things got a lot more severe, and hopefully we can avoid that this time. But in a dust storm, much like when it's very foggy or when we're seeing heavy snow, you only have, because it takes time to stop your car, remember? When you finally see something that you have to slam on the brakes. It takes a long time for you, or you have a very limited time, I should say, for things to react. You look at the bottom of your screen. Where would you be following in a low visibility situation? Probably the taillights of the car in front of you. That's one of the reasons why, and this has been proven in places like Arizona, where if you stop, if you feel uncomfortable with driving, you pull over to the side of the road with limited visibility in dust, turn the lights off, and that way people who are creeping still down the road don't run into the back of you accidentally. Some other tips you can see on your screen here: AC on recirculate. Biggest thing is slow down, get to your destination safely if you're hitting the road with dust in the area tomorrow.
All right, Matt, thank you. More than 400 homes may soon be coming to Latah Valley.
The city of Spokane approved the development yesterday under certain conditions. The homes will be built west of Eagle Ridge between Cedar Road on the east and Cheney Spokane Road and the Spokane Memorial Gardens on the west. Alexandra Konyarts joins us live near where these new homes will be built. So Alexandra, what are you hearing from people who live in that area?
Yeah, Derek, what I'm hearing from people who live here is a feeling of disappointment. This new development would be built at this land right behind me, right off Spokane Cheney Road and into the Eagle Ridge neighborhood past those trees right behind me. And the people who live here tell me that they're not anti-development. They simply feel like the Latah Valley area is not prepared for this many new homes. Right now, this area is quiet, but soon that could change. What's your biggest concern?
Safety. Taking over an area that has been peaceful and turning it into a bad word.
Barbara Neal has lived in this house for over 30 years. She, along with many others, was disappointed to hear the Marshall Creek Estates development got the green light from the city of Spokane.
But the city's going to do what the city's going to do.
The city approved the new development under certain conditions. These include a requirement for the developer to pay for improvements for the area before construction can begin. Some who live in the area say this does not solve the existing infrastructure issue they are dealing with.
Our concerns as residents and how we're going to be impacted by even more stress on the deficient infrastructure will only be exacerbated.
Claudia Laub is a part of the Citizens Action for Latah Valley. The issue they say these new developments bring?
So many levels of safety, fire safety, traffic safety. Will our children be safe going to school? Will they have to be bused long distances because there is not a school here?
In a statement to KXLY, the city told us it plans to remain committed to maintaining an open line of communication throughout the process. But for those like Neil, this new development has brought a sense of hopelessness.
It's really going to be sad, but yeah, I know there's nothing I can do.
And the reason that this development is not impacted by the moratorium that is currently in place is because the application for it was submitted in 2020. The city told us it is likely going to be multiple years before any construction actually takes place. Reporting live in Spokane County, Alexandra Konyarts, 4 News Now.
Alexandra, thank you. 2,000 gallons of nuclear waste will make its way through Spokane next year, despite efforts from the city to stop it. The waste is coming from the Hanford site, and it's part of the government's test bed initiative. The Department of Energy says the low-activity liquid waste will end up in either Texas or Utah. Spokane Mayor Lisa Brown, the EPA, and Governor Jay Inslee expressed strong opposition to the plan. Mayor Brown saying it poses an unacceptable risk to the city. In a fact sheet from the Hanford side, it says the government moves 2 billion tons of hazardous material every year. The shipments follow stringent regulations meant to protect the public and the environment. To read more about the test bed initiative, you can look for this story on KXLY.com. Well, the floodwaters from Hurricane Helene have washed away, but for many in the southeast, the struggle to rebuild is just beginning.
Yeah, coming up, what you can do here locally to help families in need and the signs to look out for so your donation doesn't end up in the hands of scammers. Plus, how this 13-year-old dog helped save her owner's life in a secluded part of Stevens County.
And the mad dash for toilet paper may be over, with dock workers reaching a tentative agreement with employers. When we come back, why there was never any need to hoard TP in the first place.
Download the KXLY Plus app on your connected TV.
Save your greed! Every fire season is more intense than the last, but Initiative 2117 will cut programs to prevent wildfires at a time we can't afford to. 2117 goes against everything we do. Vote no on 2117. It's a bad deal for Washington.
We're Ken and Donnie.
We're not brother and sister.
We're not husband and wife.
She's not my daughter.
He's not just arm candy.
Hey.
We're not bulldogs.
And we're not hammers.
What we are, we're advocates.
And so if you've been injured, we fight for you.
The insurance companies know us.
And they know we're ready to go to court.
Our record shows we do what it takes to win.
If you've been seriously injured in a crash,
you deserve more than just a law firm.
You deserve an advocate. Arm candy.
Visit Fred's Appliance today and explore unbeatable deals on the largest selection of in-stock, get-it-today inventory in the region. Discover the quietest KitchenAid dishwasher, offering powerful cleaning without the noise. Run a cycle anytime. Enjoy a third-level rack for silverware and utensils, an adjustable middle rack for tall items, and the Print Shield finish that resists smudges and fingerprints. All for just $849. Save $300 today. At Fred's, we sell appliances. Only appliances.
The Spokane Home Builders Association and Fred's Appliance are proud to present the 20th Annual Fall Festival of Homes, featuring 16 gorgeous homes from 11 of Spokane's finest builders, like Grit and Timber and Lennar. Whether buying, looking for remodeling ideas, or decorating inspirations, find it at the Fall Festival of Homes. Visit fallfestivalofhomes.com for all the details.
I just wanna have fun, clap my hands, turn around now and dance, dance, dance. I just wanna clap, clap, turn around, dance, dance. I just wanna clap, clap, turn around, dance, dance. I just wanna clap, clap, turn around, dance, dance. I just wanna clap, clap, turn around, dance, dance. I just wanna have fun, turn around.
Find fall fashion and a whole lot more at River Park Square.
Across our state, we have roads and bridges in desperate need of repair. But Initiative 2117 would make things even worse, slashing funding for infrastructure, putting all of us at risk. 2117 is a bad deal for Washington.
But there were probably more baskets than not had bass issue in it.
The port strike involving more than 45,000 workers is now suspended, but not before it prompted a mad dash for toilet paper. On social media, you might have seen this. People were loading up on toilet paper, expecting supply chain shortages.
We saw that ripple effect here in Spokane, but as our Jordan Smith explains, that product was likely never going to be affected by this strike.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
4 News Now is brought to you by UFCW Local 3000.
I think this is my favorite. Okay. What do you think of this one?
From design and products to removal and installation, Rebath is with you through every step of your remodel. Call us or visit rebath.com and save $750 off your tub or shower remodel.
It's the Planet Fitness Strong Choice Sale. Why pay more for the same weights at other gyms when you can save tons at Planet Fitness? Save $28 or more when you join today for just $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. Planet Fitness, Strong Choice.
Now at Northern Quest, Thursdays are almost Fridays. So clock out any Thursday and let nothing stand in the way of your early weekend. Enjoy $4 mixed drinks from Brown Family Spirits, 4 for $4 wings at Easton Epic, $4 mini nachos at Qdoba, and a $4 burger at Fat Burger. Plus, free mystery rewards just for showing up. Almost Fridays, every Thursday at Northern Quest. Details at northernquest.com.
I'm Jim Wilson. Look around Spokane today. These are our neighbors, someone's son, daughter, loved one. They deserve better. And you know what? We all do. I'm not a politician. These aren't partisan issues. I want to make this better for all of us, not with empty promises, but with real, testable solutions. Join me in the conversation to solve these problems at JimWilsonForWA.com. And remember me when you fill out your ballot. I'm Jim Wilson, and I ask for your vote.
Stay ahead of your child's moderate to severe eczema.
and they can show off clearer skin and less itch with Dupixent, the #1 prescribed biologic by dermatologists and allergists that helps heal your child's skin from within. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems, such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor. Ask your child's eczema specialist about Dupixent.
So what do you think about these?
We're going to take everything
From design and products to removal and installation, Rebath is with you through every step of your remodel. Call us or visit rebath.com and save $750 off your tub or shower remodel.
Well, meet Gita, a 13-year-old dog who helped save her owner's life. According to the Stevens County Sheriff's Office, a deputy found Gita on the side of a road in a rural area. The deputy tried to get her into the car, but she refused to get in. Eventually, Gita led the deputy down an unmarked road to a small cabin. The deputy began to look around and found an 84-year-old man calling for help. The man had broken his leg and was on the ground for about 3 hours before the deputy showed up. And the sheriff's office also says the man needs to take medication regularly for medical conditions. So who knows what could happen if Gita didn't lead the deputy to that cabin.
It's one thing for the dog to go out looking for help, but to actually say, no, I'm not getting in the car, you have to follow me.
Come this way with me, yeah.
It's like Lassie.
Yeah.
Right, good girl Gita.
Oh, that is such a great story.
Yeah.
Wow, dogs are amazing. Dogs do not necessarily like storms, so we've got a doozy of a day on the way tomorrow, but familiar territory. We've done this a few times already with the wind, the blowing dust, and the fire risk. That is why tomorrow is a weather alert day for Spokane, the Idaho and Washington Palouse, as well as the Columbia Basin, mainly from noon until 7 o'clock on Friday. It's going to stay windy beyond 7 o'clock Friday, but the winds will begin to taper off. Right now, it's 63 degrees in Spokane. We have a few clouds in Coeur d'Alene, however, clear conditions and 60 degrees. Your hourly forecast for tomorrow, I'll go hour by hour because it starts out really nice. Blue skies and sunshine, winds generally light. It's going to be crisp in the morning, 37 degrees for an overnight low. We will have many locations getting down below freezing and in the frost zone. If you have that 4 News Now First Alert weather app, it will pinpoint your overnight low temperature for your precise location, 54 degrees at 10 a.m. Then as we start getting into the noon hour, our clouds increase, the winds increase. We have a chance of showers by 1, but by 2 o'clock, that jumps up to 70%. That is when the front is going to be moving through Spokane. That's also when we're going to be hitting our high of 68 degrees. Then behind the front, our temperature begins dropping quickly from 3 o'clock on. Our odds of precipitation decrease, but our winds increase, and we'll be peaking sometime between about 4 o'clock in the afternoon and 7 o'clock in the evening. Our Friday winds, these are our sustained winds, peaking at about 5 o'clock in the evening at 24 miles per hour, but wind gusts at about the 40 mile per hour or even higher range, could be in that 45 mile per hour range before they very slowly taper off. Also, there's the precipitation to come along with this cold front. Let's go with our forecast radar. Here's noon, 1 o'clock with rain all the way from Bonners Ferry down to the Tri-Cities, but it will not be around for long. This band of precipitation should clear the region by about 4 o'clock in the afternoon with perhaps a few showers behind the front, and then we are drying out. There is very dry air at the surface, and so precipitation totals will likely not be very impressive. Most locations, it should only amount to a few hundredths of an inch and not enough to offset the blowing dust from the gusty winds. Friday's highs around the region. You'll notice 81 in Lewiston and in the 70s from Pullman up through Coeur d'Alene. The front not quite reaching you before you hit your high, where we'll be down in the 60s for highs. Then that front will move through and everyone will be cooler on Saturday. Your planning forecast, quiet weather beyond Friday. We're looking at sunshine and 64 on Saturday, into the 70s through the rest of the 7-day forecast, which is above average. Tonight will be the coolest night of the forecast. Many locations getting down below freezing or in that frost range, and then warmer weather ahead for overnights as well as our daytime highs.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. Well, a Spokane group is offering legal aid to immigrants at little to no cost, and it's already helped thousands of people.
Manzanita House says it's already has a 3-month-long wait list for legal help. Derek Strom explains why there's such a high demand for affordable legal help.
Manzanita House says there's about 1,000 refugees coming to the inland Northwest every year from dozens of different countries, and they need plenty of legal assistance when it comes to getting a green card or getting their citizenship. Manzanita House is looking to be the leader in giving those refugees a place to start to get that legal help that they need.
It's so satisfying to see them be able to achieve that goal that they've set for themselves, to be able to fully participate in the community that they've chosen to call home.
Manzanita House's Immigrant Legal Aid Team, or MELA, has been working since 2022 to help individuals and families toward their goals of living and working in the inland Northwest. The MELA team helped over 1,000 clients in 2023, but there's still more demand for affordable legal help than they can handle.
Our wait list for new appointments right now is about 3 months, and my understanding is that other agencies aren't too far off from that as well.
Smith says MELA is working to add more people to its legal team to serve more people in the future, but he's proud of the work his team is already doing to help immigrants across the inland Northwest.
I have some clients now that I've started when I first met them. They had no status in the United States, and we're able to get them permanent residency, reunite them with family, and then help them apply for citizenship.
But Manzanita House wants to go beyond offering legal help. It has plenty of other resources to help empower immigrants, get them settled into their community, and that includes offering language classes to keep immigrants and their children connected to their native languages.
We do heritage language classes, and then we also support the service providers doing cultural competency trainings, and we also do events.
In Spokane, Derek Strom, 4 News Now.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
Are you ready to stay for less and play for more? The Kootenai Casino has low room rates and our most exciting gaming yet. Book now to get your deluxe room at the Kootenai Falls Lodge for just $99 every midweek night in October. And join us for October Hot Spins, Weekend Super Spins, and catch the game Monday nights. Win big in October. Book your getaway at the Kootenai Casino today. Call 888-YOU-ARE-LUCKY or visit KootenaiRiverInn.com.
So, boss man, what are we doing today?
Oh, just annual maintenance.
Annual maintenance?
Yeah, the yearly tune-up to keep the heating and cooling stuff running. Wait, you do get tune-ups on your HVAC equipment, right?
Totally unrelated, but can you come by my house after this and maybe check out my system?
So many accident victims don't call the advocates because they worry about the cost. They think it'll be expensive. They're not sure they can afford it. But the truth is, the cost is
tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars.
Donnie, the cost is nothing. They don't pay anything unless we win.
Ken, I was talking about how much it would cost them if they don't contact us. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands.
That's true. Injured? You deserve an advocate.
When a loved one gets sick, it's usually women
who have to leave their jobs to care for them.
Now, I-2124 would take long-term care benefits away from millions of families,
forcing them onto private insurance that charges women 70% more than men,
and denies coverage for people with pre-existing conditions.
So vote no.
Because our loved ones can't afford to lose their long-term care benefits.
And neither can we.
DECU isn't like other financial institutions, and the difference is people. Because we're not for profit, there's no boardroom of billionaires maximizing their margins. Our biggest stakeholders are people like you. It's our members who make money meaningful, so we focus on helping them thrive. It's the art student bringing beauty to his community that makes a college loan matter. It's the mother building her family's foundation that makes a mortgage matter. It's people that make BECU matter. People like you.
Sign up for the 4 News Now Brainstorm at KXLY.com.
We've worked our whole lives, and we're so close to where they say the golden years. It's like you can see the light, and then it all goes dark.
That is Lori Lilliot of Deckle Beach, Florida. She was one of the many people whose home was destroyed by Hurricane Helene last week, and each of them are now beginning the long process of rebuilding their lives from scratch.
Yeah, thankfully they are not alone. Volunteers from across the country, including members of the Red Cross, are helping them get through this very tough time. Even here in the Inland Northwest, people are doing what they can to help. Mary Sheridan spoke with Red Cross volunteers to learn how to help in times like these.
It's going to be a long, drawn-out event, unfortunately. The people in some of the communities there is no community anymore.
Hurricane Helene is now the deadliest hurricane to hit the U.S. mainland since Katrina in 2005. But even though this tragedy is thousands of miles away, Glenn Lockwood and Red Cross volunteers in Spokane are extending a helping hand.
The Red Cross couldn't do what we do without volunteers. Clearly and distinctly, it's that critical of a role that we play.
Volunteers can fulfill this role at their Spokane office on Washington and Nora, or join a team that deploys from Spokane to the areas in need of rebuilding.
As the crisis continues, there's a good chance that trucks just like this one would be loaded up with supplies and driven by volunteers to areas affected most by Hurricane Helene.
I drove a Red Cross emergency vehicle twice from Washington, from Spokane to the East Coast for Hurricane Sandy and some of the other hurricanes.
Chuck Bomey is in North Carolina now, volunteering at a mass shelter. He and his wife Janet are just some of the 1,400 Red Cross volunteers who have traveled to Helene's disaster area.
Be flexible when you come to these things, because not everything's going to go just perfectly, because everybody has lots of different needs.
The Red Cross's needs, however, remain the same from disaster to disaster. Besides your time, financial donations and blood drives are what keeps the organization running during times like these.
It's not about what we have to spend, it's about what we want to give to be able to help people recover, and that's what we're about.
Reporting in Spokane, Mary Sheridan, 4 News Now.
And if you do plan on donating money, several federal agencies are warning, look out for scams. Scammers will create fake websites pretending to be charities or people impacted by the hurricane. So the Better Business Bureau says, first, verify the charity. Always check out a charity before donating. You can do that by going to websites like charitynavigator.com. Next, donate directly. Avoid unsolicited donation requests on social media or by email. And also use your credit cards, because those cards offer added protection against fraud.
Donations are desperately needed as FEMA is worried it doesn't have enough funding to support those who've lost everything. To help, President Biden is calling on Congress to return to Capitol Hill and pass a supplemental relief bill. Last week, Biden signed a 3-month stopgap government funding bill in which Congress did appropriate $20 billion to FEMA. But some fear that won't be enough.
Well, all federal spending is about priorities, and look at the swath and the breadth of the damage across so many states. But it'll take a while. It'll take 30 days or more for them to assess that. But Congress will have to address it.
Already, more than 3,500 federal personnel are helping in the recovery efforts. FEMA also delivered a cargo plane full of food, water, and emergency supplies to Asheville, North Carolina on Tuesday. All right, still ahead, a push to remove the address requirement from job applications in Spokane.
Why some say it will help get people off the streets.
Plus, the Spokane County vaccination rates amongst kindergartners isn't aligning with the national average. I'll break down the numbers coming up after the break.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
Stay ahead of your child's moderate to severe eczema.
and they can show off clearer skin and less itch with Dupixent, the #1 prescribed biologic by dermatologists and allergists that helps heal your child's skin from within. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems, such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor. Ask your child's eczema specialist about Dupixent.
Life happens. Lucky for you, ICCU has a new kind of checking account that comes with benefits that help you life better. Because being human is a full-time job.
Donating your vehicle to UGM Motors is easy.
When you drop off a vehicle, you have to sign a paper of, I donated this vehicle, and that was the hardest part. And I didn't have to fill it out. They filled it out for me and had me sign it.
Your car, truck, RV, or motorcycle will provide food, shelter, job training, and recovery services at Union Gospel Mission.
I think it's a great service to the community.
Call 509-327-HELP to schedule a free pickup today.
Discover fall in Coeur d'Alene. Experience the hidden treasure of autumn in our serene lakeside town. As the lively energy of summer subsides, the town embraces the tranquility of fall. Guests can unwind and find solace by the glistening lake. See for yourself why fall is Coeur d'Alene's best kept secret. Book your fall foliage lake cruise overnight package now and make memories that will warm your heart for years to come.
Next ET, our Jussie Smollett exclusive, why he deserves a second chance after his 2019 hate crime hoax. Plus, Grey's Anatomy stars are spilling the ET.
Next ET. Watch 4 News Now at 6 and Entertainment Tonight at 7:30.
It was a fairy tale cruise for this family that almost turned into tragedy. Now tomorrow, the stunning airlift, the cruise ship doctor who helped save this young boy's life, and the emotional reunion.
I feel like I probably wouldn't still be here if you didn't help me.
On GMA.
Live from downtown Spokane, this is 4 News Now at 6:30.
New federal data shows a rise in the number of parents choosing not to vaccinate their children.
And in Spokane County, the vaccination exemption rates are even higher than the national average. Our Hunter Bertram live with the numbers.
Yeah, good evening, Kirsten and Derek. The CDC releasing the vaccination numbers for our school for the 2023-24 school year. And a big number we saw increase locally was the number of kindergarten students that were granted exemption, in comparison to the previous school year.
Nationally, the exemption rate went from 3% to 3.3%, in Washington from 4% to 4.8%, and in Spokane County from 4.5% to 7.8%, meaning more kindergartners in Spokane County are going unvaccinated than around the country.
You know, when there's low vaccination rates in schools, there's obviously a higher chance for a vaccine preventable disease to become an outbreak.
In recent weeks, Spokane County and around the inland Northwest, we've seen an outbreak of whooping cough. In September alone, the Spokane Regional Health District recorded 18 cases in Spokane County.
It's just a good reminder that, you know, if it's a child younger than 7, they need to be up to date on their DTaP. And if it's 7 and older, then we need to make sure we're up to date on our Tdap vaccines, because both of those protect against pertussis.
And sometimes when there's outbreaks of infectious disease, your child could be barred from going to school if not vaccinated.
If a child isn't vaccinated for the particular disease that is in an outbreak status, technically, legally, our local health officer could require that children be excluded from school.
Now, despite the whooping cough cases around the inland Northwest, the Spokane Regional Health District tells me that it's not an illness that would warrant preventing unvaccinated students from going to school. Live in Spokane, Hunter Bertram, 4 News Now.
All right, Hunter, thanks so much. Today's weather, pretty calm. It's tomorrow's that we're worried about.
That's right. We're talking about a weather alert day for Friday. Chief Meteorologist Chris Crocker joins us now with your first alert forecast.
Well, and tomorrow morning, you might wake up with bright blue skies and everything just fine on a Friday. But by tomorrow afternoon, we have that weather alert day. Gusty winds, blowing dust, and critical fire weather conditions across the region. I want to zoom in right on the Spokane area. Starting off Friday morning, winds generally light. These are our wind gusts. But then as we get into about noon, it's going to start getting breezy. Wind gusts to 30 miles per hour. You'll notice a lot of the higher gusts are going to be out on the West Plains, but it is still going to be windy right on through Spokane Valley and into Coeur d'Alene. Our winds will be peaking right around dinner hour in the Spokane area and could get just above 40 miles per hour in many locations, up above 30 miles per hour in North Idaho. And then things calm down Friday night and keep calming down through Saturday morning, setting the stage for a beautiful weekend. Here's a broader view at that peak wind gust time, 5 o'clock, and the strongest winds will be down on the Palouse and the LC Valley, and that is where there is a wind advisory, and that extends actually all the way up to part of Spokane County. It's a blowing dust advisory for the area shaded in yellow. The entire area from the LC Valley up through the Idaho and Washington Palouse and Spokane has that red flag warning for fire danger. Your Friday planner, a high of 68, will hit that early in the day. A chance of showers, which I'll be talking about later, and blowing dust in the afternoon. And I will be back with more in just a few minutes.
Chris, thank you. And those gusty winds Chris was just talking about will also be filling the air with dust.
So the big question is, will it be as bad as the dust storms we saw last week? Let's send it over to meteorologist Matt Gray to see what we can expect.
All right, and we don't know where the dust may come from specifically. There's just things that are basically out of our control in that sense. But what we do know is that we are having a similar weather setup to the last couple of dusty days that we saw this past Sunday, which you can see the results on your screen. A huge dust storm that swept into Montana and North Idaho from eastern Washington, and what we saw this previous Wednesday ahead of some of those thunderstorms. So we don't know specifically where a plume of dust may begin from, but what we do know is that it is dry in central Washington. Take a look at this, folks. Everything that's shaded in this orange color on your screen, that is, over the last 30 days, less than 25% of the average rain. And that's for September, which is one of the drier months we have in the calendar. So we're talking about basically nothing in places like Moses Lake, Odessa, Wilbur, into the Chelan area, around parts of Adams County as well. So all these lands, parched, bone dry, and it's no wonder that we have seen these plumes of dust be lifted up anytime it gets windy. It has been 180 days in Moses Lake since we had a day where it rained 1/10 of an inch or more. Spokane's not far behind, 94 days since that happened. Looking a little bit better as you work your way towards places like Pullman that did get rain at some point over the past 2 months. But it all leads up to extremely dry soil moistures. And so at this point, I think it's safe for us to say that anytime it gets notably windy, we've got to start thinking about dust, at least until we get a couple of big storms to come in and calm things down in the central part of the state. So as you deal with the dust, shut the windows, slow down if you're out on the roads. We noticed that with the dust storm on Sunday, there was a significant drop in air quality where that dust came in. So we'll be keeping you updated through the day tomorrow if we do see any dust and where it'll be heading once it lifts off.
Appreciate it, Matt. Thank you. For 20 years now, the Mental Health Court in Kootenai County has been helping people with felony convictions transform their lives. To be eligible for the program, participants must suffer from a severe mental illness. Our Marissa Rio takes us to the court's anniversary celebration.
I mean, it's definitely changed my life.
As the Mental Health Court celebrated its 20-year anniversary, 3 participants of the program graduated, a testimony of the life-changing experience this court offers.
It's helped me gain the tools that I needed to stay sober. I mean, I relapsed one time, but after that, I pulled myself out of it, got my kid back, got a place to live, and graduated.
Josh Johnson started this program 3 years ago.
I mean, I was at an active use and addiction, dealing with depression, anxiety.
Today, Josh stood proudly in front of a packed courtroom as he was awarded his graduation certificate.
Pretty happy, actually.
Since the program's inception, over 200 people have graduated, something that takes a minimum of 18 months to complete.
They're in treatment for about 20 hours per week, both individual therapy as well as group classes, and then we require them to go to sober support meetings, and then they meet with their probation officer once a week, as well as coming to court every week to do a check-in with the judge.
Once participants graduate, they have to complete probation and aftercare treatment in order to have their felonies reduced to a misdemeanor or, in some cases, dismissed.
Today, the court was also celebrating Judge John T. Mitchell. He's been the presiding judge over this program since its inception, but he is now retiring. I just spoke with a gentleman, and he believes that Judge Mitchell has impacted more lives in this community than anyone else.
All three graduates also expressed their gratitude for Judge Mitchell.
He's just so inspiring, and he's just a nice guy. Like, you can tell it's really heartfelt, everything he does. You know, it's not for a paycheck. It is for the love of other people.
In Kootenai County, Marissa Rio, 4 News Now.
Well, we told you earlier in this newscast that port strike involving more than 45,000 workers is now temporarily suspended, but not before it prompted a mad dash for toilet paper. On social media, a lot of people were loading up like they did in 2020.
Yeah, we saw that ripple effect here in Spokane, but as our Jordan Smith explains, that product was likely never going to be affected by this strike.
Yeah, another craze for toilet paper. Kind of makes you think of early 2020. I met one couple inside who said it was so packed it reminded them of the day before Christmas, and it seemed like everybody was stocking up on toilet paper. But the good news is you don't have to do that.
A tentative agreement reached between more than 45,000 dock workers and America's East and Gulf ports. Workers will resume normal operations tomorrow morning after striking a deal involving new wages and extending the current master contract through January 15th. The coast-wide strike began Tuesday morning, lasting 3 days, but could have been incredibly disruptive to America's imports and exports and likely driven the cost of goods way up. Fresh produce like bananas were slated to take a hit, along with sugar, cocoa, imported chocolate, and alcohol. But what you weren't going to see impacted was toilet paper. And that's because nearly 85% of it is manufactured right here in the U.S. It's delivered by truck, not by freight. But despite that,
this is as bad as the Friday crowd here.
Grocery stores like Costco were slammed. Gay and Roger Stroud were here to buy in bulk for their cabin and their home. They say just about everyone found their way to the toiletries aisle.
Probably more baskets than not had bath tissue in it.
But rest assured, toilet paper, paper towels, the works will still be waiting for you at the store, and they were never really threatened by this strike. For 4 News Now, I'm Jordan Smith.
That's good here.
Yeah.
I don't want to be stocking up on toilet paper.
Yeah, don't need panic buying.
Okay, so the Cougars' first loss of the season puts Washington State in a familiar spot.
Cougs are getting used to having a fast start, but then having a hard time finishing out strong these past 2 seasons.
Yeah, this is the 3rd season in a row that the Cougs are starting out with a 4-1 record through the first 5 weeks. And the past 2 seasons weren't the finish that the Cougs had hoped for. How the team plans to not make last year's mistakes. That's coming up next in sports.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
4 News Now is brought to you by Findlay Downtown Toyota.
Sign up for the 4 News Now playbook at KXLY.com.
I'm Chad Young from the EasyHomebuyer.com, Spokane and Coeur d'Alene's easiest way to sell your house fast. If you have a few moments, I hope you'll give me the opportunity to make you an instant cash offer on your home. With the EasyHomebuyer.com, we will buy your house in as-is condition with no repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. To get your no-obligation cash offer, give us a call or visit us online at theeasyhomebuyer.com.
Pick up the phone to inquire. Call the Easy Home Buyer.
I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I breathe the mountain air, man. I've traveled, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I breathe the mountain air, man. I've traveled, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere.
Wherever you need us, American On Site.
Tonight,
And tomorrow, Cal Cars is kicking off the month with a 72-hour sale at both Cal locations, where they are marking down over 72 trucks, cars, and SUVs to sell fast. Plus delaying all payments until next year. And $0 down is all you need. This is your chance to save thousands and trade your old vehicle in for something better with a complimentary 2-year service maintenance plan included. But it's only today through this Sunday at Cal.
Do you like this one? I think this is my favorite. Okay, hon, what do you think of this one?
When it's time for an update or complete remodel, Rebath is with you every step of the way.
Wow, is this going to be ready in time for the baby?
Absolutely. From design and products to removal and installation, we handle the entire process to create a beautiful and functional bathroom for whatever your life needs. Rebath, with you every step of the way. Call us or visit rebath.com and save $750 off your tub or shower remodel.
It's a flash sale this Friday and Saturday at Walker's Furniture with an additional store-wide savings of 20% off our already low prices. Or take advantage of 5 years no-interest financing with no money down. This Friday and Saturday only at Walker's.
In 2022, the Washington State Cougars started their season 4-1. Last season, the Cougars also started 4-1, and this season, you can probably fill in the blank. A 4-1 record through the first 5 weeks. And in Jake Dickert's head coach tenure, WSU has won most of its games in the front half of the season. In this week's Cougar Chalk Talk, how the team is attacking the back half of their schedule and making sure they only add tallies to their win column. The Washington State Cougars have started 4-1 3 years in a row. And the last 2 seasons have another thing in common, an ending that could have been better written.
I meet with every kid after the season, and too many kids came in and said, you know, we probably just assumed we were going to show up on Saturdays and win.
4 wins last season were followed by 5 consecutive losses. Now on a familiar path, it's up to the players to decide which way to turn.
It's been an entire year process of making sure we didn't repeat the mistakes of last year's team. You know, it's been the motto of this entire year. We can't be last year's team, and I know we're not. This team's built different, and I'm excited to see what we show when we come back on this field.
Along with Kyle Thornton, Kyle Williams is another leader who's been vocal about guiding the team in the right direction.
He's in a leadership role, in a leadership position. So when he says those things, he's not just talking to himself, he's talking to the team. This is what I'm going to do. Who's going to follow me?
Next time the Cougars are in action, they're faced with their first opportunity to rewrite history. Their last visit to a bowl game ended in defeat to the Fresno State Bulldogs, which happens to be next Saturday's matchup and a future conference opponent.
The teams that get stuck on, you know, how bad the loss was, those are the teams that struggle. And the way I see it, you can either use it as fuel to just can it the rest of the season, or use it as fuel as fire to come back and show what we're made of.
Well, if there's a good time for a bye week, it's right now for the Cougars to prevent any possibility of a downward spiral early. And while we can talk about a 4-1 record all day long, 5-1 hasn't been done since their historic 11-win season in 2018, of course, under Coach Mike Leach. So the Cougs are looking to change that next Saturday against Fresno State. And you still have a couple of hours to vote on this week's 4 News Now Game of the Week. The 3 choices this week are Central Valley at Ridgeline, Mount Spokane at University, and Rogers at West Valley. Right now, the 3rd game, Rogers and West Valley is in the lead. But if you see your school up there and want your team to be featured in Friday Night Sports Extra, you can make sure to vote by scanning that QR code on the right side of the screen or visiting our website, KXLY.com.
All right, Sydney, thank you. Discussions are underway for how the city should be handling homelessness. Earlier this week, the city hosted a homelessness roundtable, which allowed members of the community to come together to discuss the issue here in Spokane.
And 2 of the items discussed were the ban the address proposal, which would remove the address section from employee applications, and the Good Neighbor Agreement, an agreement between homeless organizations and the surrounding community. Madeline Mullins spoke with people who attended the meeting to hear their thoughts.
Julie Garcia is a second chance employer who runs 2 homeless shelters in Spokane. She was at the homelessness roundtable.
This is bringing people together who may not have the same opinions or even understand the other side. And I think it will be helpful.
As a second chance employer, she has helped those experiencing homelessness find jobs.
I've heard the stories. I've went with people to interviews. I've seen the stigma that homelessness puts on everybody, and it does make it hard to get a job.
She believes ban the address is a necessity. Garcia also believes the Good Neighbor Agreement is a good idea. Behind me is the Cedar Center, and this is one of the 2 Jules Helping Hands locations, and both of these locations have a Good Neighbor Agreement that they enforce.
Breaking the rules of our Good Neighbor Agreement is an exit from our facility.
While Garcia agrees with both of the 2 topics talked about, others at the meeting did not feel as positive.
You can't enforce the law that you have right now. What's the point of making another law that doesn't get enforced?
Curtis Riedstadt owns the Indigo Hotel. He says he supports hiring people who are experiencing homelessness and having good neighborhood agreements. What he wants is people to enforce the current laws.
I think areas, though, that don't have the responsibility that Jewel is showing, those lead to the problems.
Garcia agrees.
And we, as providers, have to have some accountability to be good neighbors.
Garcia believes that these homelessness roundtables are a good place for problem solving to start and to give feedback to the city. The next roundtable is scheduled for October 22nd. In Spokane, Madeline Mullins, 4 News Now.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
We're not brother and sister.
We're not husband and wife.
She's not my daughter.
He's not just arm candy.
Hey.
What we are, we're advocates.
And so if you've been injured, we fight for you.
You deserve more than just a law firm.
You deserve an advocate.
I just wanna have fun, clap my hands, turn around now and dance, dance, dance. I just wanna clap, clap, turn around, dance, dance. I just wanna clap, clap, turn around, dance, dance. I just wanna clap, clap, turn around, dance, dance. I just wanna clap, clap, turn around, dance, dance. I just wanna have fun, turn around.
Find fall fashion and a whole lot more at River Park Square. The Spokane Home Builders Association and Fred's Appliance are proud to present the 20th annual Fall Festival of Homes, featuring 16 gorgeous homes from 11 of Spokane's finest builders, like Grit and Timber and Lennar.
From the ages of 13 to 15, I experienced childhood sexual abuse, and the abuse ended when I became pregnant. I made the choice to end my pregnancy. In Congress, Dave Reichert voted to ban abortion nationwide. He voted against exceptions. Reichert said as governor, he would work to unravel protection for abortion access here, and I think that is cruel. If Reichert becomes governor, I believe women are in danger. He's wrong for Washington.
Tonight and tomorrow, Cal Cars is kicking off the month with a 72-hour sale at both Cal locations, where they are marking down over 72 trucks, cars, and SUVs to sell fast. Plus delaying all payments until next year. And $0 down is all you need. This is your chance to save thousands and trade your old vehicle in for something better with a complimentary 2-year service maintenance plan included. But it's only today through this Sunday at Cal.
Spokane's hottest music.
Break me for so done with you, girl. I've been popping, man, I feel just like a rock star.
Hot 96.9.
Donnie, the advocates excel in car, truck, and motorcycle cases, resulting in millions of dollars for our clients.
That makes me sad.
Sad? Why sad?
Just thinking about the ones that don't bring their cases to us.
Oh, that is sad.
Sign up for the 4 News Now Daily Local at KXLY.com.
Tomorrow is a weather alert day for the region for gusty winds, blowing dust, and critical fire weather conditions. From noon until 7 o'clock, that is the most dangerous time. Let's take it hour by hour. We're going to start off with a beautiful day. Blue skies and sunshine, crisp, 37 to start the day, but winds will generally be less than 10 miles per hour all the way through about 11 a.m. And then things start to pick up around noon. The clouds increase, the winds increase, and then our chance of showers kicks in. We're not going to get much rainfall out of this system. 70% chance of rain and 68 degrees at 2. Our cold front comes through and our Precipitation starts to taper off, but our winds really pick up as our temperatures drop. Sustained winds up to 25 miles per hour through the early evening, but wind gusts in the 35 to 45 mile per hour range. And again, those will be peaking between about 4 and 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. The winds will quickly pick up, but they will very slowly taper off. Expect a windy late Friday evening. Precipitation will begin moving in sometime after noon. Very dry air in place, so even though it looks fairly impressive, it will be fast moving over just about as quickly as it starts, and a lot of it will evaporate before it reaches the ground, and we will be dry by Friday evening. Precipitation totals in general just in the hundredths of an inch, with high temperatures tomorrow in the 60s and 70s. Cooler on Saturday, but a beautiful day, 64 degrees, 72 and sunny on Sunday.
72 and sunny. That's my favorite time of year. All right, thanks, Chris. As we head to break, here's a look at ABC's primetime lineup tonight.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
Who isn't looking for extra ways to save some money these days, right? I'm always looking for new ways to save, but I haven't found anything better than my Ascend checking account. It's a free account that offers 3.5% of your average monthly balance. That could feed your coffee obsession for 2 weeks. Not only am I earning money, but it also has all the best features of a checking account. What's not to love?
Open your P1FCU checking account at p1fcu.org and start earning today.
So what do you think about these?
We like this.
Yeah, we love that.
When it's time for an update or complete remodel, Rebath is with you every step of the way.
We're going to take everything down to the
From design and products to removal and installation, we handle the entire process to create a beautiful and functional bathroom for whatever your life needs.
Honey, you were right. Turned out.
Rebath, with you every step of the way. Call us or visit rebath.com and save $750 off your tub or shower remodel.
It's time for Svengoolie's Halloween Bonanza. A full month of ghoulish goodies, including the return of Svengoolie double features and the premiere of the all-new House of Svengoolie.
All October long on MeTV 4.2.
Let me take a look.
Dr. Odyssey is scintillating, glam, and gorgeous. Just what the doctor ordered.
Becoming some kind of team, huh?
Dr. Odyssey, new tonight on ABC and stream on Hulu.
I did know that back pain, foot pain come along with the job of waiting tables.
This is Tony.
Things that I've tried have failed.
And this is Tony's Good Feet story.
Before my arch supports, I felt defeated. But since getting the arch supports from the Good Feet store, I have had no pain, which still is kind of crazy to me. I'm more positive. It's like opening up a whole new life, like sunshine coming out. I would recommend it to anyone. You've tried everything that's not working, give it a try.
See how we can help you too at the Good Feet store.
Thanks, Road Warrior.
We get it. It's hard to say goodbye to your car. AutoNation will make it easy. We'll buy your car for top dollar. And with over 25,000 used vehicles available, AutoNation can help you say hello to your next car.
This entire election season can feel overwhelming.
Trust 4 News Now to cut through the chaos and give you back control. I'm Derek Dice.
And I'm Kirsten O'Connor. 4 News Now, For the People coverage is focused on the local races and issues that impact you.
We'll get answers to your questions, fact-check politicians, and empower you with resources to make your vote count.
That's what we mean when we say expect more.
For the People coverage, now until Election Day on 4 News Now and KXLY.com.
Planning forecast tomorrow, an exciting day of weather. Be careful with that blowing dust, gusty winds, possibly some rain, and then really quiet weather for the weekend.
It got really crowded out here. I don't know what happened.
I like it this way. The more the merrier.
We invited all our friends so that they could all sit at the table with you as you finish your dinner.
All right. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll be back with 4 News Now Nightside at 11.